Your cat walks over to you. You reach out to pet them. And then they do it. They turn around, sit down, and face the other way. Back to you. Eyes on the room. Most people take it personally. It feels like a snub. Like your cat just looked at you, decided you weren't interesting enough, and turned away. But here's the thing. When your cat turns their back to you, they're not dismissing you. They're telling you something that most owners completely misunderstand. And what it actually means is one of the most profound compliments a cat can give. And if your cat used to do this and has stopped, if they've started facing you instead or won't settle near you at all, don't ignore that. We'll get into what that shift really means at the end. And it's something most owners wish they'd understood sooner. 1. In the cat world, turning your back is the highest form of trust. Have you ever thought about what it means in the animal world to turn your back on someone? Not in the human sense. In the survival sense. Most people interpret this through human social rules. In our world, turning your back on someone is dismissive. It's cold. It means you don't care. But in the cat world, it means the exact opposite. Cats are both predators and prey. Every instinct they carry is built around one principle: never expose your vulnerable side to a threat. Their spine, their kidneys, the back of their neck, these are the parts of their body they protect most fiercely. In the wild, a cat never turns its back on an enemy. Never. To do so would be fatal. So when your cat walks over to you, the biggest creature in their world, a being 15 times their size with hands that could easily overpower them, and they deliberately turn around and expose the most vulnerable part of their body, they're making a statement their instincts are screaming at them not to make. I do not believe you are a threat. I trust you enough to give you the one thing I would never give a predator: my back. That's not dismissal. That's surrender. And if you've been reading it as rejection, you've been missing one of the loudest things your cat has ever said to you. 2. They're asking you to watch their blind spot. Have you ever noticed that when your cat turns their back to you, they almost always face the room? The door, the hallway, the open space. That positioning isn't random. Most people think their cat turned away because they lost interest. But watch where their eyes go. They're not staring at nothing. They're scanning. They've taken the outward-facing position, and they've left the space behind them to you. In wild cat colonies, cats take turns watching different angles while resting together. One faces the entrance. Another watches the perimeter. They divide the visual field, so no threat goes undetected. Your cat is running the same program with you. When your cat turns their back to you and faces the room, they're not ignoring you. They're covering the front. And they've assigned you the back. They trust you to guard the one direction they can't see. Think about what that means. Your cat, an animal whose entire ancestral history is built on self-reliance and hypervigilance, has decided that you are reliable enough to watch the direction they can't cover themselves. They didn't just turn around. They gave you a role in their survival. That's not aloofness. That's a partnership most owners don't even know they're part of. 3. They're marking you as theirs. Have you ever noticed that when your cat turns their back to you, they sometimes press against you? Their side, their lower back, the base of their tail touching your leg or your arm? That contact isn't accidental. And what happens during it is invisible to you, but unmistakable to every other cat. Cats have scent glands at the base of their tail that release some of the strongest pheromones on their body. When your cat presses that area against you, they're depositing invisible chemical signatures that communicate one thing: this person belongs to me. In cat colonies, the greeting ritual follows a specific sequence. Nose-to-nose contact first, which is a handshake. Then flank rubbing, a deeper hello. And finally, one cat turns and presents their hindquarters for scent exchange. That final step is the most intimate gesture in the entire feline social vocabulary. It's the equivalent of saying, "This is who I am. completely, and I trust you enough to show you. When your cat turns their back and leans in, they're not being rude. They're completing the most intimate greeting their species knows. They're writing your name into their scent map and telling every other cat in the world that you're taken. That's not a cold shoulder. That's ownership. And you're the one being claimed. And hey, if any of this is changing the way you see your cat right now, hit that like button and subscribe. It's the best way to help us reach more cat people who actually want to understand what their cat has been telling them all along. 4. They chose you over every other spot in the room. Here's something nobody talks about. Your cat has options. They could sit on the windowsill, the top of the bookshelf, the empty chair across the room. They could face any direction they want, near anyone or no one. But they walked to you. They positioned themselves within touching distance, and they turned their back. That sequence matters. They didn't just turn away from you. They turned toward the room and away from you, which means they chose your side as the safe side, the direction they don't need to watch. Researchers at Oregon State University found that over 60% of cats show secure attachment to their owners. Your cat uses you as a safe base. When they're uncertain, they look for you. When you're present, their entire nervous system calms down. The back turn is one of the most visible expressions of that attachment. Your cat isn't choosing to ignore you. They're choosing to relax because of you. Your presence is the thing that allows them to let their guard down and face the world instead of watching their own back. That's not indifference. That's a cat who has decided you are the safest thing in their world, and they've arranged their entire body to prove it. 5. The details inside the back turn are a conversation. Most people see the back turn as one behavior. It's not. It's a language. And the details matter. If they lean their weight into you while their back is turned, that's the strongest version. They're not just trusting you. They're resting on you. That's devotion in its quietest form. If their tail gently curves or hooks around you, that's a scent-marking behavior, combined with a tactile bond. In cat language, wrapping the tail is the equivalent of putting your arm around someone. They're claiming you and comforting themselves at the same time. If they look over their shoulder and slow blink at you, that's the complete package. Trust, vulnerability, and affection delivered in a single sequence. There is no higher compliment in cat language. But if the back turn comes with a stiff body, flattened ears, or a twitching tail, that's not trust. That's stress. A cat creating distance, not offering closeness. Read the body, not just the position. Once you learn to read the back turn, you'll realize your cat has been having a conversation with you every day that you didn't know was happening, and you've been missing every word. 6. When the back turn disappears, listen carefully. If your cat used to turn their back to you regularly, settled on the couch beside you facing the room, slept with their spine against your side, leaned into you while watching the door, and that behavior has stopped, something has changed. A cat who stops turning their back to you hasn't become more interested in your face. They may have lost the one thing that made it possible. Trust. Sometimes it's environmental. A new pet, a new person, rearranged furniture. If the space no longer feels safe, they won't expose their back to anyone. They'll face everything, including you, because their threat assessment has expanded. Sometimes it's broken trust. If they were grabbed or startled while in that vulnerable position, they remember. A cat who was picked up without warning while their back was turned may never turn their back in that spot again. They're not holding a grudge. They're updating their safety data, and sometimes it's medical. A cat who stops leaning against you or won't settle into their usual position may be protecting a sore spot or feeling disoriented. If the change is sudden and unexplained, a vet visit is worth considering. But here's the good news. Trust can be rebuilt. Sit near them without reaching. Let them choose the position. Slow blink. Be patient. Over time, they'll turn around again. Not because you asked, because they decided. Your cat's back was never a wall. It was always a door. One they chose to leave open because they trusted you to stand behind it. And every time they turned away from you, they were saying the same thing. You're the one thing in this room I don't need to watch. You're the one I chose to trust with my blind spot.